So, hello friends, welcome back to the next episode. It's a little bit of a different start this time, isn't it? That's because I've come to the editing section of the next video and I figured out that my entire introduction that I've done, I didn't turn my microphone on for, so there's no sound at all. It's just me effectively miming at the camera, which is not good for a video really, unless you can lip read, in which case it'd be fantastic. So we're starting off this way instead. I'm going to do the introduction here, which actually gives me the great hindsight of knowing what's coming up in the video, which is fantastic. So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start off with a nice bit of a time lapse of the sort of late winter sky. We're going to move on to a fish, and then we're going to have me talking about nature in some random way, and then me having a bit of a heart-to-heart with you and a little bit of a waffle as well. So all the usual sort of quality footage that you'd expect from the Bankside Blogger channel, really. With the bonus of a fish as well. So that's fantastic. I'm going to get on with that now, but I just thought as I'm doing this, I've noticed something that actually I haven't even noticed before, and it's been staring at me right in the face. Are you ready? I'm going to get the camera and show you. Here we go. So, as you can see, this is in my house. Excuse the mess, but look. That there is a model boat that I've had for many years. It was actually my granddad's, passed down to myself. It's a bit of a random thing to have in your house, I know, but I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I'm a little bit of a geek at heart. But I've had a thought. Bait boat. Yes, I could see that sailing across some mere somewhere, dropping its payload of boilies on the spot. I think it'd be fantastic. So, thumbs up if you think bait boat. That would be an amazing idea. But anyway, let's get on with the video. And the first thing, as I said, time for the time lapse. So here we go then, first fish falls to Tony, his first fish of the year as well. And it's a nice scaly mirror.
A baby one.
It's a baby one?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a baby one, I think it's a very pretty one. You ready?
Yep. It's a baby. There we go.
What did it weigh, Tone?
About 80, just over 18.
Just over 18. Awesome looking fish. What did you get it on?
Greedy pig rig, double waft,
Oh, it does well here, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah.
Double wafter rig does very well. Awesome. Should we get some pictures of him then?
Yeah.
And then we'll get the release. Well done, mate.
best friends. This is the one that I've caught 2 times now. Yeah. It's like we've become best buddies. Something that a lot of people I think take for granted when you come fishing. Everyone moans about ducks and swans, and I do it myself as well, you know, it's a pain when you're fishing, but I don't think we look at it the right way. I think you've got to embrace nature, haven't you, at the end of the day? You come here to sort of catch fish and be with nature, and then the first thing you do is you get your laser pens out and you get your catapults out and try and scare them off your spot, which is fair enough, but it's nice just to take a little bit of time out, have a bit of fun with them. So I can guarantee you not everyone gets to do this. People that live in London, people that live in big cities, don't get to see them, let alone touch them. This is the funny moment of the video where it jumps at me and attacks me and mauls me to death. Yeah. We're in it for nature. And that there is nature, as annoying as it is. There we go, so welcome back, good morning. We're now on Sunday. It was a quiet night. Had a couple of little occurrences, maybe you could call them. Bobbin sort of rose up, a couple of beeps, and that was about it. I don't think, well, one of them, I don't think it was a pickup, I think it was a line bite. The other one, I think I was possibly done on. I reeled in shortly after and the point of the hook was turned over. So that could well be the cause of that, but we never know, do we? So yeah, nothing for me during the night. I've had to recast all 3 of my rods and move them to completely new spots from where I was getting sort of touches and things like that, as two or three guys have turned up on the peg just up there behind me, which is peg 8, right on the corner in the shallows, and I've got 4 rods out in a tiny little area of water. So it's sort of completely knackered this end of the lake for me, but it's a day ticket water, it's what you expect, and it's really busy today actually. It's quite a mild day, so a lot of people have come down obviously, and it's just one of those things, you've got to cope with it. The polite thing to do, I suppose, if you're that guy coming on, speak to the people that are next to you and see what the crack is before you set up, but you know, you can't dictate to everyone how to do it. Someone's alarm's going off down the far bank. Oh no, it's on the trout pool. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. So I've repositioned all 3 rods. Had a bit of a line bite maybe on the right hand rod since I moved it. Nothing else really. Obviously Tony had that fish yesterday, getting on for evening I suppose, before it was going dark. Wicked mirror, proper dark, still his winter colours all over him. Winter colours all over him? Yeah, still all his winter colours. That was cut off a little gully just down by the side of peg 10. Just over 18 pound. It was just over 21 pound with the sling, and the sling was 3 pounds weighed afterwards, so just over 18 pound. That's his first fish of the year as well from the specimen pool, so you know, really good job to him. He hates being on camera, but he sort of bears with it for me because I want to put some fish on the channel. He had that off his little, what he calls his greedy pig rig, which is 2 little tiny dumbbell wafters. Swan's just going over my lines. 2 little dumbbell wafters, back to back on each other, and it presents itself really well on the bottom actually. Looks really good, and he's had a fair few fish off that little setup, so fair play to him. Worked really well for him. So he's off the mark for his year. I'm not still, and the reason I'm sort of doing this little bit of the vlog now is I had a bit of a realisation before. The whole point of me fishing and choosing Mere Moor for my winter campaign, if you like, was it's 3 minutes from my house. It's really close. So for getting here and settling up and going home and things like that, perfect. I can pop down here, see how it's going after work, and just have a look around, see what's going on. And I can keep touch with the place, and one of the most important things to me, I suppose, are the guys here are fantastic. Everyone that fishes it, 99% of them are really sound guys. They don't mess around. They sort of keep themselves in a little bit, but they'll have a chat with you. They're not morons, which is really important to me. I fish a lot of day ticket waters, and I get put off very easily by morons. And you can't help it if it's a day ticket water. You know, the fishery has to let on people to make money, I understand that, but this place seems to hold quite a nice clientele, shall we say. And Tony's an awesome guy. Obviously, you've seen him in the video a fair few times. I've known Tony for a fair few years now, and he's a really genuine guy, so it's nice to have people around you that you like when you're fishing in the cold depths of winter, on the long dark nights and things like that. It's nice to sort of be around people that you get on with. So that was the main sort of point for choosing it. He also did a winter ticket, which I paid for, and it ran for the winter obviously, and it was about 150 quid for, I think, I might date's completely wrong, I think it was sort of November through to middle of March maybe, I think it is, something like that. So he did a good ticket price for me, 150 quid, it wasn't for me, it's the same price for everyone. And yeah, it was just easy, I could pop in and out however I wanted to. Now, obviously a lot of day ticket waters don't do sort of winter tickets. The Swan's on his way back down to me again. He's walking up behind the camera. If it changes focus, it's the Swan's fault, he's messing around with the camera. Yeah, so a lot of day ticket waters don't do a winter ticket price, some do, some don't. Obviously you Club Lake Water do to sort of say 150 quid for the winter, you know, it's one of those things, it's just the price of how things are in the day ticket world, I suppose. I will be joining a club at some point this year, a local club to me, that's got a couple of nice waters on it. I need to go and have a proper look round, see if it's logistically possible for me to get to them and fish them with a decent amount of time on the bank with the time restraints that I've got. So a couple of them are quite long walks around with the barrow, I think, which might overrule and make it pointless trying to fish it, to be honest. So that's coming up later on this year. But the realisation I had getting back to it was that my winter ticket, I timed it off the meteorological calendar, not any other way, just off that one. There's 3 or 4 different ways of doing it, obviously, there's the celestial one and things like that, but I did the meteorological, which is how I've always worked all my life. So the winter, nice one, the winter for me is the 1st of December through till the end of February. It's a simple one, it's the one that the Met Office use, it's just the easy one to remember. Which made me then realise that next weekend is my last weekend of the winter campaign, and I haven't caught a fish for it, which has hit home quite hard actually. So I've effectively got the rest of this session, which is a couple of hours at tops, and next weekend to try and get a fish in the winter campaign series that you have all fantastically just stuck with me by and just kept watching and kept supporting and said, you know, I realise that real fishing you don't always catch, and thanks for putting in the videos where you don't catch, which has shocked me a little bit, to be honest. I've been so worried about trying to put a fish on film for you guys that, you know, it's sort of overtaken it a little bit, and it's sort of got to me as well. It's sort of stressed me out a little bit. So yeah, I've got 1 weekend left, which could be quite difficult. It hasn't been fishing the best. It's not the best winter water to start with, so I haven't picked an easy winter water that's right by my house. It's not easy by any stretch during the winter. Yes, there's been fish off. It didn't do a fish for 3 weeks or so over Christmas. There was a fish off last night down the far end on Peg 5. A lad from Manchester that came on yesterday, he had fish off first time on here, so fair play to him. I think it was a common, about 20 pound, but it's not an easy water. It's more convenience that I chose this water from a winter ticket, to be honest, than it is anything else. There's some wicked fish in here, which is obviously a big selling point as well. Nothing massive, nothing over sort of upper 20s, I suppose. I think the biggest fish out is 28, I've heard, but realistically nothing over 26, which doesn't matter during the winter. It's irrelevant, isn't it? But yeah, it's a bit of a strange one at the minute. I'm sort of in a weird sort of position of not quite knowing how to work it now for next weekend. I need to be back here obviously to finish the winter campaign up, and I need to try and get a fish on the bank. Maybe the carp gods are saying to me, if you come back one more time and finish it off, we'll reward you with one of the big ones, or they might just give me a pasty at the same time, who knows. But I've got 1 weekend left, so I'm going to work really hard to get it sorted and get a fish on the bank for myself, let alone for you guys anymore. I need to catch a fish from here. Yeah, it's difficult, really difficult. This is where you're going to have a moment of silence with some nice sound, sort of sounding music in the background. Take it away. Really that happy with, but the space that I've got here at the minute, I've got to make do with it. So a couple of hours left. If you don't hear off me again, I'm afraid it might mean that I haven't caught a fish. Well, if you haven't heard off me again, it means that I definitely haven't caught a fish. But if you hear off me again, it means I'm going to be a very happy person. Doing everything right rigs that I've always used. I haven't changed anything, to be fair. I've gone to slightly heavier leads. I used to use 3.5s on here, now I use 4s, just from things that I've heard people talking about, like Jules has been talking about and the Carp cast guys and things like that, using heavier leads. Frank Warwick's one of them who always says he uses a big heavy lead, so I thought, you know what, it sort of makes sense what they're saying. So I've only gone up to 4 ounces, it's not like I made a massive jump. But that's the only thing that's really changed. I'm sort of on a new bait as well at the minute that I haven't really spoke about yet until it's all sorted. It's a sort of work, it's almost a work in progress, but it's not. It's a bait that's been developed by a local guy to here that Tony put me on with. And the bait itself is fantastic. I've not caught on it yet, but I didn't catch on Manila for the last couple of weeks or so as I was using that, so I can't really say it's the bait. But I haven't caught on it, so your confidence starts to waver, doesn't it? So that's the only other change, but I know the bait works, I know it's good bait, it's got all the right ingredients in it, there's no sawdust, no crap off the floor, it's just pure good food for the carp. Good attractants, good food, good flavour. I've also been lugging them up, I'll show you a couple of them, but we'll talk about these in another video, so you can see it very well. Change focus for me. If he wants to change focus. Doesn't want to change focus. But anyway, you got a blurry shot of, and that's all you're getting, it appears, at the minute. So yeah, I'm using the new bait. No confidence in it, like I say, but it does work. I've just got to wait until I catch on it and then start to build up my own sort of happiness with it, if you like. I don't know. I seem to be waffling on quite a little bit in this little section of the video, but I felt like it needed it. I felt like I needed to have a chat with you, not just me smiling, saying I haven't caught another fish. I wanted to talk to you about it and sort of see where we're up to. So yes, I am going to stop. I don't think I've got anything else in my head that I need to talk about. I'm going to stop there. Next weekend, the last weekend of the Winter Campaign series, I will fish more again. I'm going to come back because I've got a lot of unfinished business here at the minute and I want to catch some of the big fish out of here. I want a couple of the big grassies. There's some mid-20 grassies in here and I want to catch a couple of those. But after that, I've got 48 hours at Linear coming up on the 11th of 10th or 11th, 12th of March even. I've got 48 hours in Linear with the HF Angling boys, going down, video in their social forum, and I'll have my rods in the water as well, obviously, so that's going to be a nice sort of scenery change for me. After that, I've got a few other things planned, but I'll let you know all about that in the upcoming weeks. Yes, and I've got some very exciting things happening at the very start of April, which ties in with something else quite big in the angling calendar. But I'm not going to say anything about that just yet because I'm going to keep it as a surprise. So yes, that's it. I'm going to stop waffling. I will see you next time. If I don't see you again in this video, I will see you next time, next weekend on the bank, and I'm coming with a bow and arrow because Robson Green apparently quite fancies that at the minute. Dig. So I'm bringing the bow and arrow, shotguns, some dynamite, and a big pump to drain the lake. So that's the plan next weekend. If I don't see you before, I'll see you. Thanks again for watching. Take care.